Hello everyone, welcome back to Fixing with a Kid. Today we're working on this, a 1973 McLean edger. And this was brought in by a viewer of our channel, friend of the channel. And this belongs to his dad. It's a 1973. Find the model number. You can tell there, 60102-0342-01, 7308-2801. So the first two numbers of that last number indicate the year on a Briggs and Stratton. So as you can see, we have some recoil issues. He brought it in, said it was running, and he had some recoil issues, and the spring was all bent. So he wanted us to make a video and show him how to put this back together, so that's what we're going to do. Recoil on a 1973 Briggs and Stratton, 2 horsepower, and we'll get into it. One of the things we want to indicate is this is the old school type starter system, and it has this starter clutch. Inside here are ball bearings, and it locks into the clutch whenever you're starting it, and then it freewheels while it's running. If you're ever running one of these engines and you hear a loud squeal, especially if you take it off and your pulley, this pulley is metal because it's old, but the older ones have a plastic pulley, and what'll happen is this will lock up, oftentimes from water getting in it and rust getting in it, and it will burn out the center of your starter clutch. Excuse me, burn out the center of the starter pulley, your rope pulley. When you get it, it's supposed to have a, like this one has a place for the starter clutch to lock into it. This one's pretty well freewheeling, but you see there's a hole right there in the middle. Part of maintenance is to put a little bit, just a couple drops of oil into a wick that's inside there, and that'll keep it lubricated on the shaft so that it won't lock up. Now if you get it in a lot of rain, especially vertical shaft engines where this is on the top and it's left out in the weather, rain will work its way down in there and it will lock it up. So we'll get into the recoil, and then we'll get into getting the unit running. This spring has some pretty bent spots in it. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to flatten that out. I'm going to uncoil the spring and flatten it out, and then we'll get the pulley put back in here, get it hooked into the back. Spring hooks right there, and then we'll coil it up, and the other half hooks right there, and then we'll put some new rope in it. As you can see, this rope has seen better days. We'll reuse the handle. We have some new rope, and we'll get her put back together. Okay, I've gone through and straightened out the spring, so you can actually make it completely straight. So the first thing we want to do, hopefully you can see that, I've stuck the spring into this hole. I'm going to hook it. I'm going to hook it into this opening right there. Okay. I'm going to start winding the spring into the, hopefully you can see, I'm going to start winding the spring up. Now this is how it was when he brought it to me. He had taken the pulley out, but you have to bend these little tabs back down to retain this pulley. But as you wind this in, You want to hold on to the end of it. You don't want to lose the end, because the end is going to lock right here. Hopefully you can see this. We want the end to lock right there. And there it goes. I want to bend these little tabs. I want to bend these little tabs back down that retain the pulley in place. You want to be careful not to snap these off. You don't want to get them too tight either. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to put some spring tension on this. What I'm going to do is have a clamp. All right. Oops. Make sure you can see what's going on here. I'm going to put the spring tension on this. You don't want to overwind this spring because it will break. So you want to go past the hole, then you want to back the spring tension off. The rope's got to come through that hole right there. The rope has to come through this eyelet and go into that hole right there. So you get a clamp really helps. So we have an eyelet right here. It's going to come into this right here. So we're going to feed this through. There's a hole in the pulley. Got to get that to line up in that hole. There we go. Get our needle nose pliers. We want to tie a knot that won't go back through the hole. Some people tie fancy knots. I'm just tying a simple knot that will still lock that in place. Alright, we're not going to need all this rope, but what you want to do is you want to put tension on the rope. You want to find out where you want to put your pull rope handle, and you want to install your handle. This is an original handle, looks like. This rope looks pretty old. I don't think it's the original rope, but could be. Alright, we have to pull out this pin out of the middle. Get the rope off the pin. Get the old rope out. Alright, so put our new rope in the handle down to our desired length. Something about like that. And then we want to tie the pin onto the rope. I'm going to cut this rope. About right there. Tie me a knot around the pin. And some people, and sometimes you can, once you tie the knot, double knot it. so it don't pull itself out. Put some pressure on it. Make sure it's not going to come out. Then we're going to hold on to the rope. We're going to slowly let the rope go back into the rope. And there you have it. Recoil is fixed. We'll get it back onto the edger.